Hi, I'm Chanel, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey so far with having an L5S1 disc herniation and having had the microdiscectomy procedure 8 days ago. So, first, I'm actually going to talk about the pain and the herniation because as I kind of took this ride into getting deciding to have the surgery done, I watched a lot of other videos just to try to prepare myself, and it was really powerful to hear other people talk about the kind of pain that they were having and how intense it was. And that really made me feel like I'm not alone, and this is really, really a kind of pain that's almost like what I would consider traumatic pain. Like, I never, ever, ever want to experience that kind of pain again in my life. And I've birthed 2 children. I've torn a ligament in my ankle. I've, mountain biked and gotten thrown from my mountain bike at full velocity on rocky terrain. And, this is nothing. That was nothing compared to like this disc herniation at the L5S1 and the kind of pain that it was causing me. I mean, it was really debilitating. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that for a few minutes. I'm going to try not to let this video go longer than about 10 minutes because I think that's long enough. So originally my disc herniated last year in 2021 in February. And when it happened really suddenly, and I didn't know that's what it was. I was actually just taking my 3 daughters to school. I was lifting a bin over something and tweak, there it was. And then I felt suddenly like I couldn't move. I was terrified of what I just did to my back. And at the time I didn't know what it was. It just felt like a pinch or something. And I got my kids off to school, like near tears the whole time, came home. Husband and I tried a few things, heating pad and whatnot, and then eventually I went and got an MRI, and it was a disc herniation at my L5S1. It didn't look like it was very big, and so we got in touch with a neurosurgeon, and we talked about the few options. Like, one, it's wait and see, and a lot of times these things will get better on their own, or just they'll shrink back down into the disc space, and they won't be pressing on the nerves and everything. Or you can do the steroid injection, which at that time he didn't really recommend because it's the first time it had herniated, or at least the first time I'd felt it. And so step 1 was wait. But if it persisted, he certainly said, we could do the steroid injection. And then, of course, there's always microdiscectomy, but that's definitely like the last resort kind of thing that you want to do. Okay, so waited. It went away. I lived my life as normal for the next year. I mean, I went out and did like strenuous activities, climbed mountains, dove, surfed, mountain biked. I ran around with my 3 rapscallion kids and swam, and I didn't even think about it again until this past February. I had actually torn a ligament in my ankle back in October, and so I was kind of off my feet, taking it easy from October, and then I started physical therapy for that in January to try to strengthen my ankle so I could start running again. And as I was going through that physical therapy, I noticed that, that back left buttocks started really, really giving me a lot of pain again. And it just persisted, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And so got another MRI, saw that the disc was still herniated. Didn't really look much different than it had last year. But at the same time, it was causing me a lot of pain. And so since it had recurred, our neurosurgeon said, why don't we go ahead and try the steroid injection? And so we did that I think the first one was on March 4th. And immediately after that first steroid injection, I felt a lot of relief. Not 100%, probably. I mean, initially any relief would have felt like a lot, but it was probably 30 to 50% relief the day that I actually got it. And then from then on, it plateaued, I would say, probably at about 50% pain reduction, but that was enough because, I thought, well, I mean, it'll hopefully keep going away, and that'll give it time to shrink back down on its own. And I tried to resume some light activities, like some beginner yoga. He told me to just start going back to way back to beginner yoga. Don't try anything like, power yoga or anything like that. Do some light, walking, see if you can run a little bit, but, listen to your body. So I did that, but that really seemed to aggravate it a lot. And so either way, I mean, I was only experiencing about a 50% pain reduction anyway. It never got to 0 or even what I would consider livable. And then again, after 5 weeks 5 weeks after the steroid injection, the pain was back to 110%. I mean, it felt like it was even worse than it had been. And I was on the phone with my neurosurgeon, like, you know, I really need to get another steroid injection, or what are we talking about here? Are we now at the microdiscectomy level? He said, no, I really want to get that second injection, because it's typical to get two within about 6 weeks, unless, of course, you're not having any pain, and then, of course, you just wait. But if the pain returns, it's normal to get one after about 6 weeks of the first one. So I couldn't get that thing soon enough, and by the time I got it, it was April 22nd. And I remember, you know, initially, after I got the injection, I thought, okay, I was expecting a good amount of pain relief, or at least, you know, something that I could, notable. And there was a little bit of pain reduction, but it didn't seem like it was as much as the first time. And then the second day, because I got it on a Friday, then on Saturday, I just took it easy. I was kind of waiting for it to, you know, hit full efficacy. And it usually takes about 3 to 5 days. But by day 3, my pain level was going way back the other direction. I was like already back at max pain level, and it was very intolerable. And it just continued to get worse and worse. And so I got back on the phone with a neurosurgeon, and now we're talking about, okay, microdiscectomy is definitely next. Oh, hold on, somebody's at my door. Okay, so fast forward a few hours later, somebody's at my door, so I had to take care of all of that now. All the kids are home, and my stepson's here, and everybody's outside swimming, so there may be some noise in the background, but anyway, moving on. So second steroid injection didn't work. We're on like day 3, talking to the neurosurgeon. Now we're definitely looking at microdiscectomy. And so before the second steroid injection, he actually wanted to get a second MRI because he was wondering why the pain had gotten so bad so quickly and wouldn't relent. And so in that second MRI, he actually saw that it had gotten just a little bit bigger. I mean, it's insane how small these herniations can be and cause so much pain. So he thought, well, certainly it's not getting any better, it's just getting worse, so let's do the surgery. So it was about April 27th, I think, when he said, okay, I'm going to schedule you for May 12th surgery, which was terrifying for 2 reasons. Like, okay, I actually am going to have somebody surgically go into my back and my spinal column and mess around in there, and that was incredibly terrifying to me, someone who's never had a surgery like quite that invasive at all, even though it's minimally invasive. And I have a really well-known, well-renowned, trusted surgeon who does a lot of really complex surgeries. I had a lot of confidence. I was just terrified of the actual procedure. I was also terrified because I had to live with that pain that I was in for like the next 2 weeks and a day or something like that by the time I found out when I was having the surgery. And I mean, on the one hand, I couldn't get the surgery fast enough because I just couldn't live like that anymore. I mean, I literally was counting the steps to go into a store. Like, for an example, you know, I had to go get some food for one of our pets. And I remember like, okay, I can walk into the store. I just have to walk up to the counter. I have to ask them. They can just go get it real quick. I have to wait for just a few minutes. I can pay while they're getting it. And then I can hurry up and walk back out to the car. And went into the pet store, and they didn't have what I needed. And I really needed it that day. They told me, oh, well, the other pet store about 15 minutes away has it. And I remember sitting in my car like, oh my gosh, do I just go home and the pet doesn't have what it needs? Or I try to send my husband like tomorrow or something? Or do I just tough it out and have to take this extra 15-minute drive and then have to go into this other pet store and have to walk like another, you know, it's like another 25 meters versus like the 20 meters that I had to walk into and out of the pet store that I normally go to. So I toughed it out. I sat the 15 minutes to go into the, in the car, to go to the store, to walk the 25, 30 meters into the store, wait. They made me wait a little bit longer than normal. And I'm like just sitting there like in intense pain, like counting the seconds until this woman comes back out with what I need so that I can walk the 30 meters back out to my car and drive the 15 minutes to get home so I can get out of the car and get in the house into some kind of position that's more comfortable than what I'm in. And that's how I was living my life every day. From like the moment that I got out of bed, I would wake up, and like between walking from my bed to my sink to brush my teeth, the pain had already started. And I knew right then my whole day was going to be pain until I went to sleep. And even when I went to sleep, it was going to be painful because none of the pain medications were working. I was taking the max of everything that they would let me take or gave me to take: gabapentin, tramadol, ibuprofen, Tylenol Max, naproxen, all of it, and none of it seemed to be touching it, even remotely. And so that was a little terrifying to just be thinking about how I was going to get through the next like 2.5 weeks or so, especially with my 3 kids, the 3 daughters that live here, and then my stepson coming and going, and my husband working and stuff like that. And but anyway, so I kind of went into survival mode during that time, and I have a diagram that I think is just really helpful because it's just so accurate. If you have not Googled L5S1, hold on, now I have the lights on in here, it doesn't want to pick it up. Shoots. If you haven't Googled L5S1 disc herniation, then I strongly suggest that you do. Maybe if I turn the brightness down on this. Yeah, that's much better. This red and yellow lines right back here are the L5S1 nerve root. That's how they know that that's where it's pressing on, because it will extend, the pain will extend all the way down the back of your calf, the back of your thigh, the side of your thigh, the side of your calf, the bottom of your foot, the top of your foot. It literally felt like there was somebody like slicing a knife down the back of my leg constantly all day long. And it really felt like, if you've ever seen the movie Misery with Kathy Bates, when she goes at his ankles with that sledgehammer, that's exactly what my ankle felt like. So from like all the way down here, through the back of my thigh, through the side of my calf, and then I can't really show my ankle because I can't bend quite yet, but like my ankle bone, even, it's just incredible. Like even the bottom of my foot up into my toes was really in constant pain. It's like it never let up. And so I have talked a lot longer about the pain than I ever really intended to, and I hope that's helpful to somebody. But either way, so I get through in survival mode. I kind of have to like retreat into myself to get through this next couple of weeks where I'm just going to be in pain every day, and I have to get okay with that because I really need to have the surgery and I can't do anything to get it faster. And so the surgery day finally comes, and that survival mode was a roller coaster. There were tears, there were I'm okay days, and there were I'm okay moments, and there were I'm not okay, I'm a basket case moments and days, and right up until about the day before, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief, like, okay, this is happening and I don't have to be in this pain anymore. Please make this surgery do what it's intended to do. And so now I'm going to talk about the surgery, and that won't be as long-winded of a piece as the pain part, because I went through the pain a lot longer, and I'm on day 8 post-op. And so I go in for the procedure, and it's about a 45-minute procedure, at least where I'm at with the surgeon that I used. They do it as minimally invasive as they can, but they still have to remove some of the bone. They retract the nerves. They look at the herniation, and they slice off that piece, and then they, do everything they can to kind of put, lay everything back where it's supposed to be. In my case, they use surgical glue instead of sutures on my back, which was great, I think, as that's what I'm told, is that it's going to heal up nicely with a minimal scar. So I go in for the surgery, and everything goes pretty much as planned. And as soon as we get out, my surgeon lets me know that, he could tell why I had been in so much pain those last few weeks, because the herniation had actually hardened against the nerves, and so it just wouldn't relent at all. It was, I didn't even know that it could do that, because it's supposed to be kind of like a jelly-like substance. Like they say, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, you can't push it back into the disc space. Once it's out, it's out. It can either just be cut off, or or it'll shrink back on its own. But either way, so that was my case. My microdiscectomy went really well, and he was able to scrape off the herniation from my nerves. He said it was compressing to both of my nerves, the L5 and the S1, like both of them, pretty significantly, and that's why I was in so much pain, like all the way down that nerve root that you saw in the diagram that I showed you. And so that was relieving to know that, like, okay, that it was legitimate. I was having a lot of pain on purpose, like, because it was pressing on those nerves and it had hardened against them. But my microdiscectomy went really well, and I was so happy. Like immediately after the surgery, I my leg pain was like all but gone. I had some not nerve, I had some numbness in my foot. I still have it. It's in my like upper foot, like some of my upper calf is actually starting to, it's not as nummy as it was just even a few days ago. So that's really nice. My toes are still pretty numb, and that's kind of annoying. It's been a little bit hard to sleep. I've been kind of like tight in here, which apparently this is also like an S1 nerve root here too, like not nerve root where it extends. And so sleeping has been kind of like strange. Oh, while I'm up, let me just show you my scar. Oops. It's this right here. I mean, I can't really do a close-up, but that's the surgical glue. I'm still, just washing it and helping it to, just keeping it clean and everything. I was able to shower on day 3, and so recovery for me has been great. There were some things that were unexpected. I didn't expect the numbness in my leg or in my foot and my ankle. I didn't expect that my sleep would be kind of still a little bit wonky, because I don't know what's going on with the stuff like in my hips and my legs, but it's kind of difficult to get comfortable at night. But I know that stuff will go away. I was taking Norco, which is basically like hydrocodone, for the first, I had the surgery on May 12th, and that was a Thursday, and I think this past Monday, and it's now Friday, is the last time that I took any hydrocodone. So I've just been taking like 2 naproxen, and yeah, that's it, every day. And I'm not taking anything at night, and I've been healing pretty well. I mean, I'm trying to take it easy. I'm just, taking my dog on short walks during the day. He's not a pulling, he doesn't pull me or anything like that. I obviously can't hold my kids or do anything like that. I have stairs in my house, so I have to go up the stairs pretty gingerly. But otherwise, I'm just trying to really make sure that I do everything I need to do to try to recover and not re-herniate. I think that's probably the biggest fear, is just re-herniating that disc, because once you know that kind of pain and you realize I never, ever, ever want to go through that again. And so it's like of paramount importance to me to make sure that I heal. But from what I understand, there's not a whole lot of intentionality in whether or not you re-herniate. It's, obviously having some intention by not doing things you're not supposed to be doing too early. I'm almost always one of those people who does more than I'm supposed to before I'm supposed to do it. But I've learned, through tearing my ligament, and now with this disc that's, got really impacted my mobility, that sometimes you really have to stop and do everything you need to do to heal yourself and get better. So I'm on day 8, and so I will make another one of these videos. It will be much shorter, I promise, because I won't have as much to say about my journey. So I'm going to make another video, I think, at my 2-week appointment when I go to my post-op follow-up. And then I'll probably make another one at my 6th week. And hopefully this will be such a distant memory that I'll forget all about it and I won't need to make another video or feel like making another video. But I'll definitely try to make one at the 2-week and the 6th week. So any questions you can certainly post. I'm not like a YouTuber or anything like that, so I'll check it as much as I can. I've got kids to run after and everything, but I'll certainly, if I get a notification, I'll try to respond to you. And I apologize if this got long-winded. I started out and then I got a little distracted, and I had to come back to it this evening. So now I'm a little like, oh, that's the other thing. Today's the first day since the surgery that I haven't slept like 3 to 4 hours during the day. Like, I've been so fatigued every single day, and today I am too, but it's like 8:30 now, and I just didn't get a chance because I had people here doing some work and just other stuff going on, and so it's like 8:30, and I'm like almost, like, I can't even keep my eyes open. If you can tell, like, I'm a little just like taxed, kind of like being up this late without having had any kind of a nap. That's probably also part of the reason why it's some nights I've had some trouble sleeping, but some nights I've slept 3 hours during the day and I've been able to go to sleep at night just fine. So, that fatigue is your body telling you that you need to stop and rest so that I can repair myself. And so I've listen to those cues, even though I'm kind of like, well, I don't want to be up all night long, but at the same time, I'm like, if my body needs to rest, I need to rest it. And that's the most important thing. So I'm just going to keep doing that and hopefully keep healing. And if I missed anything, then maybe I'll post it down below if I think about it after I watch this and see. But either way, I hope that your journey is a quick one. The longer that you wait with your disc resting on your nerves, the longer those nerves take to recover. So that's the other thing. After surgery, they tell you that your nerves don't automatically go back to normal. Like, you still have sensations. Like, I've had some comings and goings that almost made me feel like, oh gosh, did it come back? I have a pain in my left, hip, buttocks area. Like, did I overdo it today? Did I lift something I wasn't supposed to? And so, so there's just some of these sensations that kind of come and go, but that's pretty normal. And so I've even heard from anywhere from like 3 to 6 weeks to even up to a year. And maybe that depends on how long your disc was sitting on your nerves. I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But either way, I think that once you realize that you have a herniated disc, you really need to address it with either a short period of time to see if it goes away on its own, or you need to get a steroid injection, or you need to be starting to think about the microdiscectomy, because you don't want this thing sitting on your nerves so long that it does permanent nerve damage, because that would really be terrible, I would think. But either way, I hope that you found this helpful, and apologies for being so long-winded. I guess you can just hopefully you know how to fast forward on YouTube and all of that. So that's my journey so far, and I will try to keep you posted. Thanks.